everybody, Caitlin here, and welcome to Self-Care Sunday. I hope everybody's had a great week. Mine has been very busy, and it is the season of Christmas, so I'm very busy with work, and this is kind of important why it is a good idea to take a little bit of time to yourself just to regroup, regenerate, have some you time, and that's what Self-Care Sunday is all about. Yours doesn't have to be on a Sunday, but if you take a couple hours on a Wednesday or a Friday or whatever day works for you, just as long as you get a little bit of time in for yourself. So today I kind of wanted to focus on mindfulness, and mindfulness was something that I learned in hospital, and also we really focused on it while I was in group therapy, and it is something that I have continued in my everyday life. I use it especially before I go to bed, and when I'm just feeling a little stressed out and know that I'm overreacting to certain situations. So when I first learned about mindfulness, I thought it was probably the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard of. At the same time, the more you practice it, the easier it is. So I'm going to give a little definition about mindfulness and go into and elaborate a bit more, and then give some examples about what mindfulness truly is and what it can do for you. So mindfulness is a mental state that is achieved by focusing on your awareness in the present. And by doing this, you keep yourself in the present, which is very important, and also being aware of what's going on in your thoughts, your feelings, emotions, and bodily sensations at the time, and just accepting what you're feeling in that moment. So it's a little bit confusing at first when you first start it. So by paying attention to the feelings and the thoughts that you're having without judgment. That is the key part, is don't judge the way you're feeling. It is true to yourself at that time, because there's no right or wrong way for how you feel. It's the way you feel. It's the way you're wired. Everybody is different, and so there's no right or way. It's not black and white. So in a nutshell, just to bring it all back, it is the practice of being in right here in the right now. Not bringing up stuff from the past and not worrying about things in the future that probably won't happen. And I know myself, I am bad for that. I learned that I was a worrier of the fact that I worried about things that will probably never happen, and I also kept drudging up things from the past, and it just never was able to calm my mind down because I never dealt with things properly. And so when you focus yourself on just what's going on in the present moment in your life at that particular time, it can just bring everything into focus. And you can do these, there's a few cool little tricks that you can do. Just everybody can put them into their daily life. The one thing that I do is, last week we talked about deep breathing, and before I go to bed each night, I focus on my breath. So when you pay attention to your breath, so when we did the 4-7-8 method last week, doesn't necessarily mean that is what I do each night before bed, but just focus on your breathing. Focus it going in your nose and out of your body, and I find that really helps calm my mind before I go to sleep. Really notice what you're sensing in the present moment. There's a really cool little trick that's going on when you're feeling elevated, anxious, having a panic attack, thinking of things that are going on in your life that are really keeping you from focusing on your present task. It's called the 5-thing method. I don't even really think there's a name, but that's what I call it. So you focus on 5 things that you can see. So if you're sitting in your room right now, I can see, I have a great James Dean poster, a picture of my family, my dresser, my lamp, my bed. So it focuses you on where you are. 5 things that you can hear. Right now, my apartment's very quiet right now, so I don't hear much, but sometimes you can hear the birds outside, a TV in the background, things like that. 5 things that you can smell, and also really pay attention to the physical sensation that are going on in your body, and recognize the negative thoughts that you're having, and do not make sure that the negative thoughts, just because you're having them, that doesn't define who you are. That is one thing that I struggled with, and I still am struggling to this day. I really got into it a lot with my therapist last Friday, and I can't wait to see her again this week because we are really focusing on my self-esteem, because I do get the negative thoughts with my self-image, and a lot of it, write it out. When you're having those type of thoughts, and write the pros and cons of what could happen. And think of them when you're having these negative, intrusive thoughts. Think of them, you have to accept them for what they are because you are having them. But think of them like a cloud. There it goes, just floating by. And then if you practice the mindfulness, it brings you back into the present moment. And really, really pay attention to what's going on in your body, like I stated before. For me, I have massive signs with what's going on in my body when I am being anxious. I play with my elastic that is always around my wrist. When I was in therapy last week, when we started talking about my self-image, I probably ripped about 7 pieces of Kleenex. I always need to keep busy with my hands. It took a good hour for me to calm down afterwards because it brought up a lot of emotions and stuff like that. And then you have to, when you keep practicing mindfulness, it kind of becomes second nature, and that's sort of starting to happen to me. But you have to remind yourself, and you can do mindfulness daily for your daily automated routines that you do every day, like even washing dishes. A lot of people wash dishes and they zone out. Well, when you wash your dishes, pay attention. Pay attention to the way the water feels on your hand. Pay attention to the way the soap smells. Pay attention to the way that you're washing the dish, and then how it rinses. And like, if you just focus on the actual task, you'll find that it's easier to clear your mind. It does sound a little ridiculous, and it does take a lot of practice. Also, when you're walking or running, a lot of people use that time to plan their day, get things sorted out in their head of what's going on, but actually just pay attention to what your surroundings are. Look at the trees, look up at the sky, like things like that, and just focus on the task at hand rather than the things that you think you should be doing instead. And that is one thing that I have found has helped me greatly, especially when I go up to one of my favorite spots, and I will take you guys up there eventually, but it really is starting to be a pretty big snowstorm out there right now. But when I go up to Turner's Park and I meditate, and I find that I'm in that kind of calming center, when I'm walking back to my place, I really notice just how, like, and I always have been grateful of the fact that I live in a beautiful community, but like, I just really notice how beautiful the channel is, and the way the trees line it, and the mountains in the background, and just focusing on things like that just really helps center yourself again, and then you can carry on with your day. Things again like mindful eating is something that I had to learn. I do still struggle with that a little bit because of the fact I work in a very busy kitchen, and sometimes you just don't have time to sit down and pay attention to every single morsel that's going into your mouth. You just need to shovel it in. But when I'm at home, I really do try to pay attention to when I'm making my meal, and when I am taking the spoon, putting it into whatever I'm eating and putting it in my mouth, and focus on the sensations and like the chewing and the swallowing and stuff like that. I think I'm talking a little fast today, and I'm really sorry for that. I'm just trying to fit a lot of things in today. My self-care Sunday has been a little blown to pieces, but that's the way life is. But I promised a blog every Sunday, and so I'm going to go watch a movie with a friend right now, and I'm going to try to fit another blog in this week about mindfulness, because I really do think it is an important aspect to put into everybody's day life. So thanks for watching. I hope this wasn't too confusing. I'm going to leave a few links again at the bottom in the description. And in the next couple days, I'm going to put another blog out just again on mindfulness, because I am off the next 2 days. So I'm going to put more things that you can do and how you can practice it into your everyday life. Anyway, thanks guys for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday. And next time I promise I won't be so shaky with the camera. I just was having a hard time propping it with my tripod. Anyway, take care guys. Bye.